Program is sponsored by the Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer of 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Special White Pine County Commission meeting, December 21st, 2020.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday, December 21st special County Commission meeting held here in the library. Would you all please stand and join us in the pledge? Mike, why don't you lead us today?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As is normal, we'll take the first minute for meditation, prayer, whatever you like, and then we'll start the meeting. Okay, the first item on today's agenda is public comment. Is there anybody on the phone with public comment?
No,
Anyone? Hearing none? Anyone in the audience with public comment? George, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, on your agenda items 1, 2, 3, and 4 regarding authorizing the change in holidays from established practices and policies, if the change is granted as an unpaid day, that is one thing, but to create another and allow another paid holiday because a different governing agency is closing for the day is not a valid reason for the taxpayer to pay for closed offices and employee wages. You should not have scheduled a special meeting for that. How much is the taxpayer going to pay? I want to tell you, I don't get paid for holidays, but I have to pay for those in government. We need some fairness here, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, at a previous county commission meeting held on October 28, 2020, I informed you that building inspector is yet to issue me a building permit to re-roof my house. At a previous regional planning commission meeting held on October 21st, 2020, I informed Commissioner Carson of the problem that I have pictures of the discrepancies around the area and selective enforcement, some of which this commission as a whole is aware of. The intentional discrimination must stop. I want my permit. I go to pay my fees and I'm refused because your building inspector says I don't meet NRS. How is that? How is it that others are allowed to build or repair without buying a permit? The building inspector needs to be terminated for selective, terminated for selective enforcement and intentional discrimination. If he's not held accountable, is it because he has received direction from the county commission, the city council, as to who is allowed to work with or without a permit? I want a written answer, Mr. Chairman. I want my permit that I've always been willing to pay for, yet not allowed to receive. I've been held up for months. I want that to stop. I've lost most of the building season. Now I gotta wait till spring. When does it all end? You have an obligation. You need to step forward. Mr. Chairman, I'm in receipt of a letter dated December 5th, 2019 to Mayor Robertson regarding the ingress-egress on Avenue D accessing Highway 93. While the state approved the triangle, has no say as to Ely Street widths, and the widths are not the Ely City Code standards, which are required to be met along with minimum ADA compliance, which is a federal mandate, especially for new construction. Again, why are you paying that building inspector? Why do you have rules and regulations? certain individuals. You need to address that, Mr. Chairman, and you have not. You've got to stop the discrimination. Mr. Chairman, at a recent utility board meeting, Jim Allworth brought out the fact that the golf course is not paid for water used out there. I think I may have mentioned that at one time in the recent past, they found duct tape in the meter. He claims that 111 million gallons of water have not been paid for. The city needs to be paid for that water use.
Okay,
I
George,
want my building permit.
your 3 minutes are up. Thank you very much.
I want an answer on that. If that's true, that's gross negligence.
Okay, anyone else? Is there somebody on the phone that might have public comment? And I see no one else in the audience, so that being said, do you see anybody, Mike?
No, sir.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get out of public comment and go into page 2, item 1. It's discussion for possible action to authorize OE3 union employees to utilize 12/23, December 23rd, as their union holiday before Christmas as opposed to 12/24/2020 in light of President Trump's executive order on providing for the closing on December 24th, 2020, which is classified as a holiday under Article 14 of the OE3 agreement. Mike Weeble.
Thanks. I have to use some background. There's a step-by-step legal analysis to understand what's kind of happening right now while we're here today. In going way back to 2009 and in 2015, even President Clinton had granted a partial day as a federal holiday for federal employees. We're talking about federal employees. And then Barack Obama did it in 2009 and 2015 for federal employees doing half days. So going way back even to President Clinton, we have this provision that we've adopted in our policy, okay, for OE3, and there's some other similar language, some of our other policies. It says, in addition, a holiday may be granted on any day appointed by the President of the United States or by the governor for a day of mourning, Thanksgiving, or as a legal holiday. The issue is the President can only give holidays for the federal employees and declares a federal holidays for federal employees. And that's the power the President has. A national, if you want a holiday that we have to recognize, that is the act of Congress. So when you have this kind of language in your agreement that says a holiday declared by the President, this is what we're talking about. This language coincides with what the past presidents have done over the last 20-something years, is by declaring a federal holiday. So we negotiate in our union agreement to recognize it as well and extend the same courtesy to our employees as the President extends to his federal employees. So that's how we got here. In fact, the senior agenda item is not even an action item for you to grant Christmas Eve to the union employees, because it's already de facto in the agreement. What we're trying to do is normally in the agreement, union employees can have the day before Christmas, or they have that floating holiday the day before or the day after, and they get to choose that, and then they coordinate with their department heads, to figure out which day they're gonna take, the one before or the one after. So that's a matter of policy. That's why we're here today, because what we're asking the commission to do, instead of letting it be the day before Christmas, because that's already gonna be now a holiday under the agreement, we're gonna let them exercise that right on the 23rd or the 28th. And so there's an MOU that we're gonna be going over with the union, so we are all on the same page, and they get to choose the day before Christmas Eve or the day Monday after. So department heads are already trying to coordinate with their employees on that.
So, okay, so if we do that, let's see, the day after, we have to give them one or the other, am I right? We either give them the 23rd or the 28th
That's correct.
by union agreement, right?
Yes, and they get to choose, they'll get to choose that with their department head managers, which one.
So if they decide to take the 28th, they'll have to be here on the 23rd.
Correct. Well, unless they've scheduled some other vacation with their department head, yes.
Okay. Because we're gonna get into the second part of that, which is the exempt employees.
Correct. We're just talking about the negotiated agreement. So we're just asking to modify the negotiated agreement to reflect the 23rd, as it normally reads, the day before Christmas. In your mind, think 24th is the day they normally get a float, 24th or the 28th, or whatever.
Yeah, so in an answer to one of the public comments, is this is a fed, you know, wanna make it perfectly clear, this is something that the president has declared, and our unions have already got that in prior contracts. So
Correct.
that we are clear, all of us are clear in allowing that, and we're not doing anything out of the ordinary, we're just deciding which route to go according to the
On
department.
their floater.
Yes.
On which, that allows them to when to take it. So, the other thing you have to notice is there are counties across Nevada doing different things because their contracts or their negotiated, bodies are all read differently. This is the way ours read, and if it's something that the county doesn't like, we can look at that going into negotiations next time. Again, contrary to the public comment we heard, this is not outside of policy. We're not granting an additional holiday. You're not here today granting an additional holiday to the negotiated, to the unions. All of this is the, allowing them to use their floater on the 23rd instead of the 24th.
And Mike, I believe Phil Herring with the union is on the call.
Great. Great, so you have a union rep on the phone as well. That's, it's a technicality. You know, I just about have the chairman approve this, but because it's just a matter of course of them using those holidays. But I wanted to make sure it's clear because we're agreeing to change that language, and you'll see the MOU.
Well, without hearing from our union people right away, what if part of them wanna go the 28th and part wanna go the 23rd? And we're gonna act on item number 2 with the exempt employees, without knowing which holiday they're going to take. Can we declare you take holiday 1 or holiday 2?
No,
We have to allow them the opportunity to do that?
it's almost exactly the same as it was before. Just in your mind, imagine that we're not, before, traditionally you have your day of Christmas, which is off. And then we say, okay, everyone gets a floater holiday. You get either day before or the day after. And so they get to choose, I'll take the 24th off, and we have some staff to cover that. And then the balance will take the day after Christmas, next work day after Christmas, and then the rest of the staff will cover that, who had been there on the 24th. Now, as we're saying, is because the 24th is off, you have one big Christmas, 48 hours of Christmas. Now our day before the holiday happens on the 23rd. And so just that little language allowing them to do the 23rd instead of the 24th is what I'm asking you to do on this item. So the same coordination with the department heads, trying to schedule people to be present so they can conduct business, that all falls to your department heads, and they're already making plans for that across the county. So we'll have coverage on the 23rd.
Is there any danger of us going into overtime on either day?
Not on the 23rd or the 28th, abnormally. I mean, your department head should already have a plan for that.
Well, the other commissioner's got a comment? I think he's made it perfectly clear to us on what we need to do, so we can go on, unless somebody has a question, I can ask for a motion to approve this on item 1, and then we'll move on to 2.
Motion to approve item 1.
Second.
Motion by Lori, second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. You're on, right, Ian? That was you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. On page 2, item 2, is discussion for possible action to authorize unrepresentative and exempt employees holiday on 12/24/20 in light of President Trump's executive order on providing for the closure of executive departments and agencies of federal government pursuant to section 6.1.1 of the personnel policies. Therefore, department heads and elected county officials may close their offices on December 24th due to the limited public transaction, the president's federal order, and lack of staff because of the employee holiday. Mike, you again.
Okay, so generally speaking, we have a small list of non-union employees working for the county. They're your appointed department heads, some of your other white-collar professionals, as you call it, like some of our other professionals in the county. Generally speaking, we don't have a lot of policies that apply directly to them, so we try to apply whatever policies apply to the OE3, we apply to your exempt employees as well, for fairness across for all employees. So what this item is for you to discuss amongst yourselves and decide whether you want to, you don't have to, you're not bound by contract like we are with the OE3 to give them Christmas Eve off. Does that make sense? And so now you're saying, sorry, if you're if you're an exempt employee, you know, you still have to, right now, they still have to show up to work on Christmas Eve. But this board can take a vote to extend to them that same holiday that we're extending to OE3. Okay, so these people, another way to look at this is, generally speaking, these people were gonna get paid for working that day, and now they're gonna be paid for not working that day. So we lose productivity, not necessarily money. Now, there is a cost associated with this, and Elizabeth has ran the numbers on that. She's on the phone, you can ask her some questions, but she said cost for one day for unrepresented employees, including exempt, is $12,118. But what I don't know is why there's an additional cost, or if we would already be paying those exempt employees for that day. So that's how much labor I think we're losing in costs for that day. Not actually gonna cost the county an additional $12,000 over what we normally would have been paying during that pay period. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're losing productivity. The point of this item is, if your employees are at home anyway, across the county, are you paying people to go to work and be on Facebook all day? Or trying to do some paperwork, or who knows what on that day? Or are we just gonna treat them the same and send them home? That's for you to decide. But that's your legal options. You can either give it to them or not. But that's the cost for labor that day, that you'd be paying them to have that holiday. I'm not saying that our employees will be on Facebook all day. You know what I'm saying? If the county's closed and, you know, business is kind of slow for the county on the 24th anyway, that's why we're here today.
I got one question.
Mhm.
On the 23rd, irregardless, do those exempt and elected officials have to go to work either way on the 23rd?
Yes. So, they could, so, not your electeds are kind of in this for the long run, no matter what. But, you'll see coming up that your exempt employees also get the floating holiday before and after, just like your OEM. And so now we're also gonna allow them to choose to use it on the 23rd instead of the 24th. So you're still gonna have some scheduling, but your department heads already have this taken care of. I guarantee they already have a plan in place across the county. So now it's just to decide whether you're gonna extend the Christmas Eve to your exempt employees or not. Oh, and I also added in there that, under the NRS, the county commission, if you allow the exempt employees to go home, and the OE3 is gonna be home, you have a department head, possibly, like, imagine Bill, without anybody working. So, this allows him to close the office that day. And it allows your elected officials to close the office that day as well. As long as it's a vote by the majority of the board, they can close their office as well, if they don't have the staff. And just like your exempt, they get paid salary regardless, whether you're closed or open
Right.
or shut. That's another way to look at this. So,
Richard,
Yes.
I was just gonna say, that's one thing that this county has always strived to do, is trying to keep it equitable amongst the union and the exempt employees.
Elizabeth, do you have any comment on Mike's deal? He explained the 12,000, and I think we understand that. You're there and you're here on the phone, but if you got any comment, would you make it?
Sure, I think Lori hit the nail on the head when she said this is about trying to keep everything equitable between our employees, and that's normally the course the county commission has taken. Your unrepresented hourly employees normally get the day before, the day after, just Christmas, just like your OE3. Your exempt normally do not. But this is about the 24th and granting that day, and because the policy says it may be granted, we need the permission of the county commission to see whether or not they're going to allow that. But in the past, the history is that you have always tried to maintain parity between your unrepresented and your union employees.
Okay. Does any commissioner have any comments to make as far as before you ask for a motion? Shane?
Yeah, you know, I'd just like to say, this has been a unique and unprecedented year. It's been a tough road, and our people have battled through it with us, and I fully support meeting this need for them, and let's let them have a break with their families. I mean, like, we're all tired. Let's let them have a break and rejuvenate a little bit over this holiday, and come back strong after the first of the year.
like I said, they are salaried employees you're talking about, so they get paid more money.
Okay, having heard that, and I'm ready to call for a motion to approve.
I'll need two motions on this one, actually.
Okay.
I'll need, just so I can clarify, I need a motion to authorize unrepresented exempt employees to take the 24th off. Okay? And then if the board so desires, you're also doing a motion to allow department heads in their discretion to close their offices on the 24th.
Can I do them both in one, or should I do?
Sure, you can, well, yeah, you can get, if you get a first and a second on those, yeah, together is fine.
So you've heard Mike.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
would you please make sure that the motion includes exempt and unrepresented employees? There are two different categories.
Yes, and thank you, Elizabeth, because I neglected to say unrepresented employees, and I was in error in doing that.
You heard Mike explain the two motions. I'll ask for a motion to approve both. Can I get a motion to approve the exempt and the non-represented employees? Am I right?
Yeah,
And
you'll see,
also-
if you just look at number 2, it has it all on there.
Okay.
Right. Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to allow our exempt and unrepresented employees to have the 24th off, and to allow our, also in that motion, allow our department heads to close those offices for the 24th,
Including the elected officials,
including elected officials.
Perfect.
in their discretion.
That's perfect. Okay. We have a motion. Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Shane, a second by Lori. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimous.
And when I said in their discretion, like the justice of peace, the DA, and the sheriff are probably still, we may have to come to work and take care of some things that come up.
Okay, we're on page 2, still item 3. Discussion for possible action to authorize unrepresented employees to utilize 12/23 as their holiday before Christmas as opposed to 12/24 pursuant to section 6.1.1 of the personnel policies in light of the President Trump's executive order on providing for the closing of executive departments and agencies of the federal government on December 24, 2020.
This is just like item 1, but as it extends to the exempt and unrepresented. Allow them to use that floater either on the 23rd or the 28th.
Okay, it's the same as 1. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion by Travis,
Second.
second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Ian, you there?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes unanimous. Thank you. Okay, item 4. Discussion for possible action, approval and/or ratification of a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, between White Pine County and OE3 regarding Article 14 of the agreement between the parties granting the holidays in light of President Trump's executive order providing for the closing of executive departments and agencies of the federal government on December 24, 2020.
You all have the copy of the MOU in your backup material there? All right, so the union asked Tim to put together a little MOU just so we're all on the same page of what that allows. And so this MOU outlines what you've done today. And I'll just support us for this specific occasion.
And Mike, if I could add to that too, the union did send me a response saying that they did agree and they were just waiting for signatures on it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve, except for in the third whereas, there is a typo on the last sentence. The day before Christmas of the day after Christmas. I think that should be or the day after Christmas, as per approval of the department head.
Yeah, I see it, or.
So with that said, I'll go ahead and I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between White Pine County and Operating Engineers 3 regarding Article 14 of the agreement between the parties granting holidays.
Just before we take the vote on that, we were told that the union representative is on the phone, is that right? Is he on the phone?
Yeah, I'm on Zoom.
Just for the record, I'd like for you to tell us if the union is in agreement, just for the record.
Sure, I'll do that. Commissioners, thank you for the time. I would like to thank Mike and Tim and Elizabeth for putting this forward before me. I didn't know this had come through. I really appreciate this. I think the staff, all your members, I think they're really going to appreciate this as well. and I just want to thank the commissioners for approving this. They did send me the MOU last week late. I sent it over to our legal department, they reviewed it, they were okay with it, and we're all in approval of it. We were just kind of waiting on you guys to make the decision to approve or not approve. And as soon as we get that correction in the language, in the whereas, we'll get a signature page, find out, we'll get that sent in and back.
Okay, for the record, would you give us your name and title?
Sorry about that, my name is Phil Herring, I'm with the operating engineers, I'm the business representative that represents the union employees in White Pine County.
Thank you very much. Having heard that and getting a motion from Lori, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion by Lori and a second by Shane. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, passed unanimous, thank you all very much. And the last item on today's agenda is public comment. Is there any public comment on the phone for what we've just taken action on? Anybody on the phone? Seeing none, the audience, Nicole, would you?
Yes, I just wanted to bring your attention to the thank you banner that the commission was gifted from Magic Carpet Preschool, and they sent a card saying, "Dear White Pine County Commissioners, thank you so much for donating funds to Magic Carpet Preschool so we could reopen this fall and provide our much-needed services to the community. Sincerely, MCP Board of Directors, staff, and students."
That was very nice.
Is there any other public comment? Okay. George, you have anything you want to add?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I pay approximately $13,000 more or less in property taxes. As an unrepresented taxpayer, I want equal protection under the law. I want that permit to re-roof my home, no cost, ribbon on it, Merry Christmas, go to work. I'm tired of all this giveaway, folks. I pay a lot of money and I'm only getting a bum rush. That's not gonna keep going, I'm telling you right now. You're looking at a fed-up taxpayer. And a few other choice words. Gotta stop. Mr. Chairman, again, how many discrepancies or deficiencies do I have to bring before you do something about the building inspector who selectively enforcing the law? I mentioned numerous times that the biggest single detriment to growth in our city and county is that building inspector. I'm going to bring forth the facts. Someone needs to act. Earlier meeting, I told you that the senior center project, the sidewalk is made out of asphalt, not concrete as required by code. The entrance on 10th Street does not have handicap access. You're gonna pull up there with a bus, and then you're gonna say, oh, go down the corner about 70 feet, and there's a handicap access there. Not gonna cut it, folks. New construction needs to comply. Community choirs get a building permit. They roof their building with plastic, doesn't meet code, no permit. And yet you're worried about old George who's willing to pay, and I've got nothing to date. I told the planning commission this, by the way. Kevin Briggs re-roofed his home, no building permit. Former city attorney, no big deal. Baloney. Jim Allworth out on Pimlico Lane, got water, no building permit, no special use permit, no business license. We're worried about old George. Well, you better be worried about old George. I want equal protection under the law. Mr. Chairman, the Planning Commission today does not address city code violations by previous or present members of the Planning Commission as well as some of the city council and county commission. They need to comply with city codes that they have formulated and adopted or resigned. I'm going to submit this again, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've brought to your attention in the past that the new parking lot design for the convention center does not meet minimum ADA requirements. The center walkway has not been put back in to keep pedestrians off the street, especially those in wheelchairs. Again, I'm going to submit this again. And you need to put people on these boards that do something more than just spend money. There has to be enhancement to the community. We just had the Christmas parade. The theme was Christmas Toyland. And what did we have? Fire trucks. We brought Santa Claus in on a deuce and a half, an army deuce and a half. Why didn't they put him in a tank? That's got to stop. We need people that really care about this community. That was a good effort, fine, but not good enough. You need to put people in place that have skin in the game, and you don't. That needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Last
I
call,
want a red ribbon on that building permit, by the way.
last call for public comment. Hearing none, I'll wait for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion by Travis,
Second.
second by Shane, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, passed unanimous. Merry Christmas to everybody, we'll see you in about 2 weeks. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas to
See you
you.
next week. I've got an item next week.
Goodbye.
Let's do a point. Let's do a point.
If you press button, two is on your list.
Authority, EIS.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chachis reporting.